The drivers headed to Monza, one of the most prestigious and historic tracks on the F1 calendar, and the final European race of the season. One of the big news coming into this one was that Haas, Sauber and Ferrari all brought upgrades to the track as they will try to move up the field as soon as possible. The big talking point was qualifying as the new championship leader, once again Hayden Gullis, snatched pole position, and again the Force Indias locked out the front row with Hulkenberg, Hayden Gullis' teammate, lining up in P2. Carlos Sainz in the Toro Rosso lines up in third, with Raikkonen with the updated Ferrari getting a very good fourth position for the prancing horse, with Sainz's teammate Daniel Kvyat in P5. One of the surprises in qualifying was Pascal Wehrlein in the Manor, getting a very impressive 6th place, with the Manor looking pretty strong around here. Felipe Massa lines up behind him with Nico Rosberg in the Mercedes as well in 8th, with Kevin Magnussen in P9, and Felipe Nasr, one of the shocks of qualifying, gets that Sauber in a very impressive 10th place. One thing to mention, Max Verstappen narrowly missed out on Q3 by 3/1000ths of a second, just showing the true pace of the field, how close it can be on this very historic track. It's now time to head over to Hayden Gullis, as it is now time for the Italian Grand Prix.
What is up, people, and welcome back to part 77 of my F1 2016 career here at the Italian Grand Prix. If you missed Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, and the rest of Season 4, then you can go catch up with the top right corner of your screen. Just click that card annotation, and you can find everything that you have missed over this career mode so far. But we're here at the Italian Grand Prix, which is another circuit like the Belgian Grand Prix, where I'm expecting to do well at. You know, we've got a car that's very quick in a straight line, and we seem like we are better than the AI at this circuit. We did get pole position here, once again, just like we did at the Belgian Grand Prix, so we are really happy with that result, just ahead of our teammate Nico Hulkenberg. And last time around at the Belgian Grand Prix, we actually retook the championship lead as well, so that was really good. Valtteri Bottas on screen right now. He qualified down in 15th place, not a good qualifying session for him, but there we are. P1, front of the grid, and a great 120.029, nearly getting into the 119s. To get that pole position, but there is Nico Hulkenberg. He lines up in P2. So, before we get into today's Italian Grand Prix, let's take you through the starting grid for today's race. It is myself lining up in pole position, nearly getting into the 119s. Hopefully, we can do that in Season 5. Nico Hulkenberg lines up alongside us on the first row of the grid in P2, once again making it a Force India front row lockout. Carlos Sainz, just like the Belgian Grand Prix, he qualifies in 3rd place. Then it's Kimi Raikkonen in 4th, with Danny Kvyat 5th, Pascal Wehrlein qualified in 6th, with Felipe Massa in 7th. Then we had Nico Rosberg in 8th and Kevin Magnussen in 9th, with Felipe Nasr getting into the top 10. Really good qualifying session there for the Sauber driver. Max Verstappen, he qualifies in 11th place, with Roman Grosjean alongside him in 12th, with Jenson Button 13th and Esteban Gutierrez in 14th. Then we have the Williams of Valtteri Bottas, who qualified in 15th, Jolyon Palmer in 16th, Rio Haryanto down in 17th on the grid, with Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes getting knocked out in Q1, as well as Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo, and of course Marcus Ericsson as well. So that is your starting lineup ahead of today's Italian Grand Prix. Let's head down to the track for the race strategy. Here we go then, race strategy for today, and the team want me to start on super soft tyres, go for another set of super softs, then a set of softs, and then a set of mediums. I'm going to stick with that strategy for now, but I'm going to try and get rid of one of those super soft stints. So I'm going to go softs, super softs, softs, then mediums, and try and get to the end on a 2-stop strategy, but we may have to go on to the 3-stopper if our tyres do not last. But that's the strategy that we're going to be going for today's race. And let's head back to the starting grid for today's Italian Grand Prix. Here we go then on the grid for round 14 of Season 4. The lights are coming on now. It's 5 red lights. It's lights out, and away we go for the Italian Grand Prix. It's a great start compared to our teammate Nico Hulkenberg down in towards turn 1. He has the inside line at the moment, but we get ahead of him, move over to the right-hand side, get and defend the inside lines. Nico Hulkenberg has a little look around the outside. We switch across him. He does a bit of a switch-back move, trying to hold it around the outside of turn 2. Yellow flag out, so he can't overtake at the moment, so he's going to have to back off. Green flags once again. There's a big old pile up down in towards turn 1, and the safety car has been deployed very early on in today's race. So that's going to completely neutralize the field, and it's going to allow us actually to make a pit stop very early on in this race. We'll get to that in a second. Let's just have a look at a replay of what's happened down in towards turn 1 and 2. So we've been watching on board Carlos Sainz. He's going around the inside into turn 2, just clips Danny Kvyat, his teammate, and unfortunately puts himself into a spin. You know, going 3 wide into that corner, it is possible. I have done it before in this season, and I think I did it in last game as well. But unfortunately, you know, they just got a little bit too close together. Carlos Sainz got very much pinned on the inside of turn 2, and unfortunately they're being put into a spin. There you go, just got pinned by Danny Kvyat, and unfortunately facing the wrong way. So he does lose a couple of positions, but it's not too bad for the Toro Rosso drivers. He does get going once again, and I think he filters down into the likes of, I think it was actually in P3 in the end. I think he's still in P3 after that collision. No, that's Danny Kvyat, sorry, in P3. I think he's down in like P6 or something like that. But this allows us to come now into the pits for a very early pit stop, because we're going to be coming to pits anyway around lap 4 or 5 if we were going to do the strategy which the team wanted me to do, which I feel like most of the other drivers are doing as well. Looks like we've got, I think that is Carlos Sainz or Danny Kvyat, not too sure which one it is, coming into the pits with us as well. So we are going to go for a bit of a strategy call right now. Go onto a set of medium tyres, see how long we can take these tyres for, and then we can decide whether we need to go for a set of softs or a 2-stopper after this medium stint. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to drop quite far down the field, unfortunately, which we're just going to have to get on with in today's race. But it does mean that after the safety car period, the likes of the leaders ahead of us, they will be coming into pits very soon after the safety car restart. So we should be able to get back past those guys after that safety car restarts. We cut ahead now to lap 5, right behind two McLaren drivers of Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button here battling for P13. Down in towards the parabolic, around the outside possibly on either of these two guys, and Nico Hulkenberg comes into pits now, so we should overtake my teammate with that strategy. Like I said, Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button not having the best of exits through the parabolic. We're going to go for a little bit of a switchback move as we go in between the two McLarens. Very daring to do that, because we could have easily clipped one and completely ruined our race. We go up the inside, down in towards turn 1. We didn't actually want to make that move, but we've made it anyway. Now trying to hold it around the outside of turn 2 against Marcus Ericsson. We've made the move stick up into P9, but I can honestly tell you I did not mean to make that overtake on Daniel Ricciardo and Marcus Ericsson. I was just going to hold back, but unfortunately I put my front brake balance too high to the front, and I just locked up, dived up the inside. But luckily, it all worked out. We managed to get past Marcus Ericsson. Here we are looking to go around the outside of Esteban Gutierrez through the Parabolica. And there we go, making the move stick. A lovely move there on Esteban Gutierrez. Can we get Grosjean, Haryanto and Bottas down towards turn 1? We're going to try it maybe to the inside. Haryanto pushes Bottas. He forced me onto the grass. I'm going to back out of it, hold the inside line, as now Gutierrez has a little look around the outside. Ericsson trying to hold it around the outside. Turn 1, all getting very close to the back of Gutierrez through there. And luckily, we haven't got any damage. We haven't made any collisions at all through that corner. We were just being a bit patient, which is a little bit different to what I have been in the past. Usually, I would have dived up the inside. I would have been like, nah, screw this. I'm going up the inside. I'm going on the grass. I'm going to try to take this position. But now, I am definitely in a championship battle. I don't want to risk anything. And look here, we're getting past both those two drivers a little bit later on in the lap. Here we go through the Parabolica side by side with Gutierrez. I think he gets forced out there. So is Grosjean. And there we go, getting past Valtteri Bottas as well. Moving up into P5. So, it wasn't difficult at the end of the day getting past those guys. They're right behind me now, going down in towards turn 1. There's yellow flag out at the moment. That's at the Parabolica, so not too sure what has happened there. As we go down in towards turn 1, there's been contact from the rear, putting us into the barrier. That's damaged our front wing. A lot of damage on the front left end plate. Trying to get through the chicane there on the runoff area, but unfortunately that did not happen. So Lewis Hamilton joined Sebastian Vettel out of today's race. Those two must have had a collision down at the Parabolica. Something has definitely happened there, as we're having a look at a replay of what exactly happened. It looks like Roman Grosjean just dived it into the back of us, putting us into the wall. Yes, we kind of did move in the braking zone, so maybe we are at fault because of that. But at the same time, Roman Grosjean was very late on the brakes, and he went straight into the back of us. Here we are going to get a better view, though, on board with the French driver, down in towards turn 1. So he overtakes Valtteri Bottas, now going down in towards turn 1. Brakes early, but then brakes late again. He goes back onto the throttle, then brakes a little bit later, goes into the back of us, putting us into the wall. I'm not too sure. I think, personally, I think that's Roman Grosjean's fault, because he went into the back of us, but I'm not too sure. I did kind of move over in the braking zones. We're watching a replay of what happened down the Parabolica. Kevin Magnussen goes for a spin, and there's a huge contact there with Sebastian Vettel, going straight into the side of Kevin Magnussen, putting himself out of the race. So that's how Sebastian Vettel crashed out of the race, and Lewis Hamilton comes through as well. His race is over. That's two drivers in the space of one corner getting knocked out of today's race, and Kevin Magnussen somehow is still running in today's race. There's the first contact with Sebastian Vettel. Let's watch on board with Sebastian Vettel how this develops. So Sebastian Vettel sees him spin. He just accelerates and just goes straight into Kevin Magnussen. So you've got to kind of say that was Sebastian Vettel's fault. Here's on board with Lewis Hamilton, who just really had nowhere to go. Both Sebastian Vettel and Kevin Magnussen were blocking the track. Unfortunately, the slight contact that Lewis Hamilton had was enough to put him out of today's race. But here we are on the end of lap 9. We're still doing okay with this damage. It's not too bad at the moment as we hit that curb and we nearly get sent over the top. We nearly do a whole flip there going through turn 1, and then we make slight contact there with our teammate as well, giving us even more front wing damage. And unfortunately, I think we're going to have to come into the pits to get this fixed. But let's have a look at a replay of this huge two-wheeler that we did. There we go, nearly flipping the car, but luckily managed to pull it back and then had to go for a bit of a spin. I think there was contact from the rear from Pascal Verlaine. I'm going to watch on board now as he goes for the overtake on Jenson Button. Will he try and get Daniel Ricciardo as well down in towards turn 1? Under braking, yes he does. Then he accelerates. No, he does. He just comes off the brakes and then just goes straight into the side of us after locking up. And that's what made it worse. I think hitting the curb, we would have been fine. We would have still been able to catch it and still go the same way. But there was a slight amount of contact, and that unfortunately put our car over the top, put it into a half spin, and we had to just lose all those positions as we're watching on board Nico Hülkenberg as he just gets past Danny Kvyat through Ascari. So a nice overtake there from my teammate, and here we are following behind. So we're a bit far off the pace. Unfortunately, we will be coming into pits on this lap, which is a huge disappointment because the strategy that we had on at the moment looked to take us more or less to the end of the race. We're going to go for maybe a set of softs or a set of super softs until the end, but it was a good strategy to go for, and it could have definitely given us a chance of getting today's race win. But unfortunately, we're going to have to cut this medium stint short, go and get a front wing change, which is going to take even longer in the pits, unfortunately. And this is going to put us way down to the back of the field. We need some sort of miracle right now to try and get back into this race. We're going on to a set of super soft tyres to try and be really quick. We just need to set qualifying laps to try and get back into the race and try and get some points here today. And luckily, with the retirements that we have had and with the other guys having collisions like Kevin Magnussen, he's way down the field. We've got the likes of Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. They're already out of the race. We don't have to worry about those two guys. And I think there are a few other drivers that are quite far down the back of the field. So that is okay. That's kind of good for us. But still, we are very much right down at the back of the field at this stage of the race, and we have a lot to do to try and get back into this Italian Grand Prix. Like I said, we need a miracle at this stage. We need something to happen, but now we are watching on board with Felipe Massa. Is he going to try and make it 4 wide? Yes, he does. 4 wide, down into the Parabolica. That's a 6-way battle as Felipe Massa finds out the hard way that going 4 wide into Parabolica is not a good idea. He goes into a half spin, and then I think he gets taken out by it's either Danny Kvyat or Carlos Sainz behind him. Let's watch a replay on board with Felipe Massa down in towards the Parabolica, trying to make it 4 wide. He has the inside line on Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button. I think it's Daniel Ricciardo as well. He just gets squeezed out, and yeah, gets hit by the Toro Rosso. Not too sure which driver that is. It was Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz is the one who hit Felipe Massa. Here's a replay on board with him. He goes for a spin. Sainz just holds off a little bit and then just goes straight into the side of Felipe Massa. And unfortunately, that is Massa's race over. But it's good news for us because it means that we gain another position. We're going to gain another position now as we overtake Nico Rosberg in the pit lane. We've gone up to P16 right now. And here we are coming right behind Carlos Sainz, who has unfortunately had to come into the pits because of that incident. So we're right behind the Toro Rosso driver right now, down in towards the Curve de Grande, using our so powerful, overpowered straight line speed there as we go through the Curve de Grande using Slipstream, and there we go, moving up into P15 in today's race behind the other Toro Rosso of Danny Kvyat, who's currently on the medium tyre, so he could possibly go till the end of the race. We're watching on board now with the Sauber driver of Marcus Ericsson. He's been overtaken by Esteban Gutierrez down in towards the Parabolica. Nice side-by-side action between the two of them, showing the other drivers how it's done. You can see bits of debris all through that corner because of the so many incidents that's happened, and we've seen that happen before in Season 3. Lots of drivers have done that where they tried to come into the pit lane. Unfortunately now, that has meant Marcus Ericsson has lost out. We're watching on board with Nico Hülkenberg. No way. No way is Nico Hülkenberg going to get 3 positions in the space of 1 straight. He's going to try it around the outside now of Fernando Alonso. He's got the Red Bull. He's got the McLaren. Is he going to get the other McLaren of Fernando Alonso? Not quite. And he has to settle just behind Fernando Alonso. But still, that was a fantastic move there by Nico Hülkenberg. Later on into lap 12, he has now finally got past Fernando Alonso as we're watching a battle between Jenson Button and Daniel Ricciardo. They go side by side through the Parabolica. This is a very risky move, and it looks like it's happened again. There's contact down at the start finish straight. Jenson Button's gone spinning. I think Daniel Ricciardo's gone spinning. Fernando Alonso, who wanted to go into the pits, has somehow ended up on the start finish straight. There's so much carnage down in towards the start finish straight right now. We're definitely going to have to take a look at a replay because of that, and the safety car has been deployed, and that means that once again we're going to change our strategy. This is probably the third strategy change that we have made in today's race. We're going to be coming into the pits, go onto a set of soft tyres, and then probably go onto a set of super soft tyres till the end of the race. So soft tyres for now. See how long that we can take these ones, probably to around 21, 22, and then go for a set of super soft tyres until the end of the race. I think this is a good strategy to go for, especially with how far we are down the field. So, you know, hopefully this can bring our race back alive, and hopefully we can try and get through the field. We are very quick around this circuit, especially in a straight line. So it's just pretty much from here on in, it's going to be overtakes galore, hopefully. So here we are down in towards turn 1. And we're going to come out just ahead of the Mercedes of Nico Rosberg, which is good news because we want to be as high up the field as we possibly can and be as close to Nico Hülkenberg as we possibly can. Going into this race, the gap in the championship is only 10 points. So we need to make sure that he does not get the championship lead back from us. And there is the likes of the... There we are, getting past the safety car. Sorry, but here's a replay of what happened between these three drivers. So Jenson Button up the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, side by side through the parabolica. Then Daniel Ricciardo wants to follow Fernando Alonso into the pit, so he pushes Jenson Button, who then goes into a spin, hits the back of Fernando Alonso, which then puts Alonso into the spin as he crosses the pit line, which means that he teleports back onto the tracks. There are proper aliens happening in this Italian Grand Prix. And now watching on board with Danny Kvyat replay as he goes into the back of the safety car. What on earth is he doing? Danny Kvyat believes the safety car is not going quick enough for his liking, so he's trying to push that along. It's not going to work out for you, Danny Kvyat. Unfortunately, he's broken his front wing, and he has to tuck away from being behind the safety car. So it looks like there's two drivers in the pits. That's Danny Kvyat because of that incident that he had with the safety car, and another driver as well, Daniel Ricciardo, also into the pits. So there we go, getting past both of those drivers. And now, despite what has happened in this race to us, we are right behind Nico Hülkenberg at the safety car restart. This has really, really saved our race. Both of us outside the points, those we give him a little nudge through the parabolic. We're probably going to get a warning because of that, as Marcus Ericsson has had an engine failure on the safety car restart. How many times have we seen that happen where a driver has an engine failure on the safety car restart? It means we're going to get a bit of a gap though to Nico Hülkenberg, which is probably good news because we don't want to get involved in carnage, as Kevin Magnussen is now also out of the race. So it'll be interesting to see what's happened there. It does mean that unfortunately we're going to have another replay, but you know, it'll be interesting to see what has happened to Kevin Magnussen. So here he is down through the parabolica now on the safety car restart. So nothing at the moment. You can see the smoke from Marcus Ericsson's car as he comes down towards the start finish line. Ericsson teleports onto the track and he just goes straight into the back of him. How on earth has that happened? How on earth has Marcus Ericsson crashed out of the race, should be ghosting, and then Kevin Magnussen just goes straight into the back of the Sauber driver? Oh my word. Kevin Magnussen must feel so hard done by in this race because like the yellow flags are still out because Kevin Magnussen's car is still on the track, but that's down at the start finish race. And Nico Hülkenberg having a little bit of contact there with the Toro Rosso driver down in towards the Ascari, side by side with Carlos Sainz now, but a good move there from my teammate to move up into another position. I think he's up into the likes of maybe P9 now, as we are currently running in P11. Now he goes around the outside of Felipe Nasr down in towards the parabolica. That's where you want to overtake, round the outside of the parabolica, because if you go up the inside, you are running that risk of being pushed as someone else wants to go into the pit lane. As we are now right behind Carlos Sainz and Felipe Nasr, who make the decision to come into the pits. We're watching on board with Nico Hülkenberg, so much faster in a straight line than Pascal Wehrlein, that is. And there he goes down in towards turn 1. He gets the position on the Manor driver and moves up into another place. We could have maybe possibly tried the overtake as well, but like I said, I don't want to risk it. We're just going to take it easy for now when we know we are quicker than Pascal Wehrlein. So we're going to wait it out, but we don't even have to worry about that as he now comes into the pits. That moves us up into P6. There's more drivers into the pits as well. That moves us up into another position as we are still very much right on the tail of our teammate, who now goes for an overtake on Esteban Gutierrez, which is a very easy overtake there for Nico Hülkenberg. Can we do the same thing? Moving up into P5, up the inside of Gutierrez into Ascari. There we go. Lovely overtake from myself, losing the back end ever so slightly through the corner though. So that is going to allow Gutierrez to have a better run down in towards the parabolica. And here he goes up the inside. Can he do it? No, he can't. He's just not quick enough in a straight line. He pulls out of the slipstream, and that unfortunately really hurts his car as he just has no straight line speed in the Haas. The Haas have upgraded before today's race, but unfortunately not enough to be able to compete with our Force Indias. We're now currently on lap 20, right behind our teammate of Nico Hülkenberg and Valtteri Bottas. We're going to get double slipstream and double DRS down in towards turn 1, but like once again, don't even have to worry about it. Nico Hülkenberg, he comes into the pit. So does Max Verstappen, who is leading the race. And there we go, getting past Valtteri Bottas now for the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. And oh my word, we were down near the back of the field on lap 8, and now we're leading it here on lap 21. I know there's been safety cars and stuff like that that have really helped us out, but still, this is a huge result for us. If we can actually win today's race, it's going to be absolutely amazing. We still do have to make a pit stop, so the likes of Nico Hülkenberg and Max Verstappen could get back past us. We're just going to have to wait and see how this pans out, as Nico Hülkenberg right behind the Ferrari of Kimi Raikkonen down in towards turn 1. He's going to go up the inside of Kimi Raikkonen. Will he be able to battle with Daniel Ricciardo as well? Yes, he does. And there he goes, down in towards turn 1, side by side. Is it going to be side by side, or has he got the position? He's got the position on the Ferrari and the Red Bull, who look like they're going side by side behind him. But Kimi Raikkonen gets the position there on Daniel Ricciardo, and he moves up another place. And now we're back on board with Nico Hülkenberg, who's now battling with Rio Haryanto and Valtteri Bottas as well, down through the Parabolica. Once again, he's going to get double slipstream from both of these drivers down in towards turn 1. So there's another driver in the pits at this stage of the race. Nico Hülkenberg side by side with Rio Haryanto now. He's got the position on Valtteri Bottas. Will he get Rio Haryanto as well? Yes, he does. And there we go, down in towards turn 1. No, Rio Haryanto still holding it around the outside of turn 1, but unfortunately has to give up on that position. Nico Hülkenberg has the inside line, and he takes away the position there from Rio Haryanto. And now, here he is trying to get past Jolyon Palmer in the Renault down towards the sky. He's going to move to the inside line, get the inside line on Jolyon Palmer. Oh, there's slight contact between the two of them, putting them off the track into the gravel. It looks like they're both carrying on okay, though. It looks like Valtteri Bottas and Rio Haryanto haven't got the position back on them. But here we are coming into the pits now for our final pit stop in this race. We're going to go on to a set of super soft tyres for the remaining 4 laps in today's race. And this should take us till the end, hopefully. So we're going to get overtaken by Max Verstappen, which is a little bit unfortunate. He's going to take the lead of the race for the time being. Will we get overtaken, though, by Nico Hülkenberg, our teammate, down in towards turn 1. Nico Hülkenberg, there he is with a lot of cars right behind him, down in towards turn 1. Can he hold it around the outside? No, he can't. And there we go, taking second place in today's Italian Grand Prix. We're beating our teammate. We've got second place at the moment. And this is all despite having those incidents earlier on lap 8 and 9. This is absolutely amazing in today's Italian Grand Prix. And here we are starting the final lap of today's race. We have a bit of a gap there to Nico Hülkenberg, which you can see at the moment, and we're not too far away from Max Verstappen. He's done, I believe, a 2-stopper in this race, so the strategy has really worked out for Max Verstappen. He's now on the medium tyres. He's taken them quite a while. We were on a fresh set of super soft tyres, but they are starting to really come away from us now as we have taken them 4 laps in this race. So it's pretty even, but I think we still have the performance over the Red Bull driver. So we'll be hoping to try and get past him by possibly the end of the lap, as we're watching on board now with Esteban Gutierrez going down in towards the second chicane. He's just gone straight into the back of the Williams, which I believe is Valtteri Bottas. Yes, it is, because Felipe Massa is out. And he's just put his car into a spin. And I'm pretty sure that puts him out of a points-paying position. And I think it's only him and Felipe Massa and Nazar who haven't scored points in today's race. So I'm not too sure what was going on there from Esteban Gutierrez, pretty much throwing his whole entire race away. But we only have one more corner, one more chance to try and get back past Max Verstappen for the lead of this race. Is it going to happen through the final corner now? On board with Max Verstappen through the final corner, through the Parabolica. I don't think it's going to happen, as Max Verstappen takes the checkered flag at the Italian Grand Prix. We come home for a really, really well-deserved second place. A great comeback drive, especially after the collisions that we had on lap 8 and lap 9. What a race. What an absolute crazy race that was at the Italian Grand Prix. We've come off Germany and we've come off Belgium, which have been quite quiet, to be fair. You know, it's not been too much happening. We've just had easy races, led from the front, and pretty much that's all that's happened in those 2 races. And then we come to Italy, and there is just carnage absolutely everywhere. So that was a really, really exciting race here today at the Italian Grand Prix. And Max Verstappen is today's race winner. He did the 2-stop strategy, which worked out perfectly for him. And there he goes, race winner by 0.08 of a second. One more lap, and we would have got him. If we had one more lap in this race, we would have got Max Verstappen. But unfortunately, that's not how it goes, and he is a well-deserved race winner. We finished the race in second place, 4 pit stops, with those collisions and on lap 8 and 9 being right down the back of the field. It is a fantastic result for us. Nico Hülkenberg completes the podium and gets some good points for Force India as well. Ria Haryanto, he finishes in 4th, Julian Palmer 5th, Valtteri Bottas 6th, Daniel Ricciardo in 7th, Carlos Sainz in 8th, Fernando Alonso 9th, and Kimi Räikkönen getting the final championship point. Then we have Pascal Wehrlein just missing out the points on 11th, and Felipe Nasr will be disappointed with that 12th place as well. Looking further down the field, then Jenson Button, he finished in 13th, with Nico Rosberg in 14th. Then we have Esteban Gutierrez 15th, Danny Kvyat 16th, Romain Grosjean in 17th. Then we have the drivers who did not finish. Kevin Magnussen 18th, Marcus Ericsson 19th, Felipe Massa in 20th, and Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel finishing down in 21st and 22nd. But the craziest crash of today has got to be the Kevin Magnussen one, going into the back of a car that was already out of the race. So he would be so frustrated with that, but unfortunate for Kevin Magnussen that he did not finish in today's race. Driver standings then, and we have increased the lead in today's race by 3 points over Nico Hülkenberg, taking the gap to second in the championship to 13 points. So it's a good championship lead at the moment at this stage of the season, but it's not quite comfortable yet. We would definitely like to increase it over our teammates. So we've got quite a few races left to go. We've got Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, USA, then Mexico, then Brazil, then Abu Dhabi. So we still have quite a few races left in the season. That's a lot of opportunities for Nico Hülkenberg to come back in the championship, but it's also a lot of opportunities for us to extend our lead. So hopefully we can do that over the rest of the season. And finally, in the Constructors' Championship, the gap to Toro Rosso after today's fantastic result is 171 points. And I've been saying this over the last couple of races. This championship for Sahara Force India is definitely theirs to lose. We are doing so well in the championship at this stage, 171 points ahead of Force India's. Red Bull move above Ferrari and Mercedes there. They had a good result, so possibly they could become back into it, especially with the upgrades that Ferrari have done going into today's race. So we could see Ferrari come back into it. We could also see Red Bull come back into it. I'm not too sure about Mercedes at the moment. They definitely need to pick up their upgrade game at this stage of the season, but they could certainly come back into this championship if they have a phenomenal end to the season. But we're just gonna have to wait and see if that happens or not. But that is it for today's Italian Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, share the video with your friends, and I will see you next time at the Singapore Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.